It's the GOAT Coach, Coach T Flow, guys, and welcome to this sip of Coffee with Coach. It's where we just kind of, instead of having a full-blown podcast with the guests, we just take a sip of coffee, just a little bit. We talk about some of the things that's going on in our community. So I'm going to make the video short. Like I say, just a sip. It's not the whole cup. Well, I want to talk about the case that happened in Harris County in Midland, Georgia. Sad situation. Two school-age boys were shot and killed by their stepfather, who subsequently was shot by Harris County deputies who came to the scene. So I think just from what I've been hearing on the news, seemed like he kind of like maybe died by cop. He went out there. They say he came outside the residence and he brandished two firearms, and the deputies shot him. He returned fire, and they returned fire until they put him down. But, you never, ever, it's all losers in this situation. Nobody wins. The mother, God bless her soul, the mother actually took another one of the children. The mother ran out the house with that child. And people say what they want to. Everybody plays Monday morning quarterback. What that term means is after the fact, you say what you would have done. I've seen posts where people say, I would have never left my kids. I would have never did this. You don't know what you're going to do in a situation like that. That's traumatic, especially when somebody's shooting. You never know what you're going to do. So, and we don't know all the details. We just know what the news puts out there. So I have no, she lived, she survived. This lady survived this situation. And she might have saved her life and her other son's life that she escaped with. Or for all we know, maybe her other boys stood up for her life. Maybe they knew it was going down and they was like, hey mom, save yourself. We don't know what happened. But what I want to talk about, and my girlfriend, she spoke on it. Not just this case, but me and her, we talk about situations where, abuse plays a part in a relationship, and there has to be signs with everything. It has to be a sign, and reports are coming out now that this guy was a knucklehead, that he was a big narcissist, and people have engaged with this guy. Obviously, he was an educator of sorts at some of the schools around here. And everybody said he was a negative guy. He was type A alpha male type of person. And my thing is, and I'm not putting no punches on nobody because that's not my style. But to ask women, is security worth the risk of torture? Is security worth the risk of even death in some cases? To where, obviously they stayed in a nice neighborhood. He was, like I said, he was an educator. I've seen reports that he had been a principal at one time. So you probably got the financial security there. You got the nice home. But sometimes it's like it comes with the cost. And what are women, or even if it's reversed, and it's very rare as it reversed, but it could be, what is worth taking that abuse or your life, especially when you have friends, family, loved ones around you who are telling you to leave, telling you it's not worth it. And I know that somebody can get addicted to a lifestyle. Coming from somebody who was addicted, when I was in the streets, I was addicted to a certain lifestyle in the streets. And when I squared up, a lot of things that were afforded to me when I was in the streets were no longer afforded to me no more. I had to budget. I had to really restrain from free spending. When you're in the streets, you got money to spend how you want to. So I understand what it feels like to downgrade, most definitely. But what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like, at what cost is it worth it? Or is it ever worth it? Is it a situation where, as long as you're living in the present, you're okay with it? And is it a mindset where maybe a female thinks that it'll never happen to me, or maybe, he's an asshole, but he never take it that far? And me and my girl, we were talking about people snapping the other day. That's what we were talking about, snapping. And it could be the littlest thing sometimes that's compounded over time that makes somebody snap, and something that you wouldn't think somebody would do, they would go there and they would do it. And that's the situation where you see sometimes where like this one, of course, but when somebody kills their whole house and they commit suicide, somebody had a real mental health moment at that time. And it might be somebody that wasn't even crazy all the time. It was just that moment that they snapped. But when it's been going on for a long time and people are telling you, hey, I've heard some people put on posts that they were saying he's always talk about his stepsons, saying that they're going to grow up to be nothings and they were trash and stuff like that. So all the signs are here for the victim. And she is a victim. She lost 2 of her boys. But there was also signs of, I guess somebody was a therapist in the family. I'll take it. I don't know if it was her or somebody was a therapist, but there were posts, and I read some of the posts. I'm not going to post them here on my, like I said, I can't either, but there were posts basically saying he was getting help. So now my other part of my mind is saying thick and thin, through better or for worse. If you're going by your vows, maybe he was going through a tough time and she was just sticking with him through it. But this seemed like it had been going on a very long time. It's a page in Harris County. It's one of those pages. And on the page, I read that there was a lot of incidents where law enforcement had been called to this house time and time again. So at what point is the security, is the nice homes, is the nice cars, is the nice neighborhood worth the abuse and the narcissism? Do you know anybody like that? Do you know somebody who's, they might be living in a real affluent neighborhood, got nice vehicles, but they're not happy? Or maybe that their husband is cheating on them or even abusing them, beating on them. But as long as to the public, they see them in this situation, it's like, you know what, do I really want to lose this? Or do they detach themselves from this person? Like, or I see a lot of times they make excuses for the person. They say, well, he had a bad day, or, he goes through this through the holidays. But at what cost? How long can you go for it until something tragic happens like this? Like, think about this. It's holiday season. This lady's going to never forget. I mean, she's going to never forget regardless. But, it's just so tragic that it happened. And once again, I would never blame the victim. It's not her fault. It's most definitely not her fault. Not at all. I'm speaking for people who probably haven't went through what she's going through, who might be going through this situation and can, hey, you know what? I see where this could end. And I'm asking a question. Is it worth hanging around trying to fix it or see if it's going to fix itself? Or should you have an exit strategy before it gets that far? Because it affects a whole family. And I see people, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was a family member or his father or somebody making excuses about, those boys, they didn't listen to him. They didn't respect him. And I'm like, come on, man. At the end of the day, man, you a 50-something, 60-year-old man and you shot your stepsons. There's no excuse for that. As a man, if something was just to go that bad with me in a relationship, I'm going to walk away. Mental health comes into the question. When people say mental health, once again, if mental health is coming into the situation, if somebody has mental health issues and you're trying to stick with them, but it's not getting better, are you obligated to stay? Do you let them bring your mental health down to where it's all toxic and turbulent? I think this is a healthy conversation that needs to be had, because look how many, and I'm not going to bring up none, just I want you guys just to think about how many women in our community have died from domestic violence. Just if you really just think, or have been assaulted. If you really think, through the years, I remember the one where the dude killed the friend, and I hope nobody on his family her family's watching, because I mean no disrespect. But the friend was just over her house visiting. this crazy husband or whoever he was, he killed both of them. And it was just like a regular friend. Or over here at the this was several years ago at the dang on Dollar General over here on Forest Road. Or the dad in E. Cannon, who went in there and they found out that he killed the kids. That's right here in our community. And I know that those situations were in affluent areas, but still, they were either with these men or trying to get away, but haven't already escaped all the way from it. So I think it's a situation that if you have a friend, somebody you care about, a loved one who's on the cuff, you know they're dealing with somebody who's unstable, no matter if they're staying in Green Island Hills or Searswood or East Urban Heights. We need to have a conversation with them about moving forward with their life and is it worth it being with that person. Now I'm all for going through the struggle with somebody, and I think it's all kind of struggles. Like I said, I think sometimes a person might be comfortable in living and they're willing to take abuse, but you got people who are not, who might be, on a poverty line or middle class. They still go through things too. Everybody goes through things, no matter what level you're on, you still go through things. So is it worth it to stay in any situation? Is it a mind state to where somebody's like, no, I have nowhere else to go. I don't want to leave this 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom home. I love my neighbors. I love my neighborhood. I love the school my kids go to. I mean, I'm just trying to get into the mind of a person who takes this abuse for years and years and years. Then something tragic happens. Then you got to ask yourself, was it all worth it to get to this point? So I don't have all the answers. Trying to see what you guys think about it. Like I said, just Coffee with Coach. I was just really thinking about. I've really been thinking about doing this live the last couple of days. And I was kind of on the cuff, like, should I talk about this? Because this is a real touchy subject. Because there's been a lot of women in our community. Like I said, I just named a few. The girl that got killed in the spider web when a boyfriend jumped out the car and walked her down. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And we had to start seeing these warning signs of this behavior from these men and lend a helping hand to these women, whether it's advice. And even to the point where if it's physical abuse, maybe having taken a step further and letting somebody know, because I'm sure fear plays a big part in it too. Not just the fear of not knowing what to do or going where to stay. Fear if you telling this person, maybe they might go to jail, but they may bond. They might come out and do something to you. So I know all that has to play a part in it. So let's keep the conversation going on in the comments, guys. It's just something that was on my mind. I don't know the last name of the two boys that died. I know that I don't think they had their stepfather's last name. I think his last name was Grigsby. But rest in peace. Prayers for this family. This mom who I know is hurting right now. Prayers for her family. And this is what we can do, guys, to help women who might be facing a situation like this get out of it. So I might not be the best person for advice because, first of all, I'm not a woman, but I know that's just a tough situation for anybody to be in. So what do you guys think? Let me know. Like I said, let's continue this conversation on the comments and see if we can help some people out there. Coffee with Coach.